The woman was about to showcase her cooking skills, but she discovered a bug crawling out of the dough. The woman immediately swatted it dead, but there were still things wriggling in the dough.
Ah! Fuck me! Damn it!
Moreover, the fresh ingredients the woman prepared were all moldy. Even when the guests were dining, the dishes were crawling with bugs. Where did this bizarre bug infestation come from? Let's go back a month. The protagonist, Julie, had been working as a sous chef at a high-end restaurant for 7 years. She was quick-thinking and nimble, and Julie had exceptional culinary talent. Therefore, she was favored by the head chef. But Julie was not satisfied with just assisting others. She had her own dream of becoming a head chef. One day, Julie resigned from the head chef. She told him that she was about to open her own restaurant. With friends, the head chef tried hard to persuade Julie to stay. He believed that, although Julie was an excellent cook, she could not be a boss. After hearing herself being dismissed, she felt very frustrated. Julie was determined to achieve something. Julie eagerly drove to the restaurant site. She found the place desolate, with weeds all around the abandoned restaurant. Inside, there was dust everywhere, and there were even moldy foods and bugs on the table. Julie's fighting spirit was somewhat dampened. She was worried about where to start cleaning up. Suddenly, the door opened. Julie was startled. She curiously walked out to check. As Julie reached a thicket, she surprisingly saw a figure not far away, but in the blink of an eye, the figure vanished. Before she could think further, her friend Andre invited Julie to dine at a private kitchen. Julie temporarily set aside her doubts and went with Andre to learn from the renowned restaurant. During a casual chat, Andre mentioned the investors' plans. The investors wanted to mold Julie into a renowned chef full of wildness and femininity. This deviated somewhat from Julie's own plans. The two tacitly changed the subject. Julie was surprised to learn that Andre's original head chef was actually Magnus, but when Andre mentioned him, his attitude was a bit strange. Exquisite dishes were placed on the table. After tasting the restaurant's signature dishes, Julie got some inspiration from them. Moreover, she also immediately found a sous chef. Everything was moving in a positive direction. As they were leaving, Andre told Julie that the investors wanted to taste her skills before deciding whether to invest. The tasting was scheduled for Sunday. Time was tight. Julie decided to start cleaning the restaurant immediately. While sorting through the items left by the owner, she discovered a notebook. It was signed by Magnus. Just as she felt puzzled, a strange noise came from outside the door. Julie went to check the sound. She arrived at a room she had never entered before. There was a photo of an old lady hanging on the wall. Julie did not notice anything unusual. She was hit by the window. Julie thought it was just the wind. The next day, Julie and her sous chef Alvin continued cleaning. The place was crawling with bugs, but at this point, Julie thought, as long as she cleaned up, everything would be fine. After the kitchen was cleaned, Julie began to plant vegetables in the garden. When she started preparing dinner for the investors, Julie discovered that the dough she had prepared earlier was crawling with something.
Ah! Fuck me! Damn it!
Julie felt nauseous. Moreover, the ingredients she had prepared the day before were all moldy. Even the vegetables she planted were destroyed. Julie was extremely distraught. She immediately contacted Andre. Julie requested to change the dinner time, but Andre told her to figure it out herself. As Julie wondered who had ruined her garden, a rabbit appeared nearby. It turned out to be the vandal. Unfortunately, the rabbit wasn't on Julie's menu. The investor's test was about to begin. Julie didn't have time to deal with the rabbit. She quickly sent Alvin to buy ingredients. The gourmet food store was closed on Sundays. Alvin only returned with a bag of cheap ingredients. Julie had no choice. She could only arrange the dishes to look expensive and serve them to the investors for tasting. The ingredients were mostly processed foods, but unexpectedly, Julie actually received recognition. Everyone was satisfied with the taste of the dishes. Just as Julie sighed in relief, a bug crawled out of the plate. Seeing that no one was paying attention, Julie secretly swatted the bug dead. Unexpectedly, more bugs gradually crawled out of the male investor's dish, and he himself was surprisingly unaware of it. Just as the male investor was about to bring a spoonful of bugs to his mouth, Julie reached out and knocked the spoon away. But then, the bugs all mysteriously disappeared. Faced with the puzzled looks of everyone, Julie gave an awkward smile. She claimed to be worried that the spoon might burn the investor. After the meal was over, the male investor was very pleased with Julie's cooking, but the female investor thought Julie was too conservative. The dishes she created were too ordinary, merely pursuing appearances. Julie was not satisfied with this assessment. After all, her ingredients were limited. So after everyone left, she picked up a knife to find the rabbit. Julie was ready to teach a lesson to the culprit. That was stealing her ingredients. As she walked, she unexpectedly arrived at an abandoned manor. Julie cautiously pushed the door open. In the middle of the garden, she found a wooden post carved with strange totems. Julie curiously examined it. At her feet, she discovered a magical plant. Julie lay down on the ground. She saw an old lady walking towards her, but she couldn't move. Julie could only let her approach. In a daze, she felt like she was about to be buried alive by her. When she opened her eyes again, Julie found herself back at the restaurant. Andre had come here. He told Julie that the investors were unhappy with the last dishes, so her position as head chef might be replaced. After all, no one could sway the financier's decision. But Julie was unwilling to give up so easily. She chased after Andre. Julie pleaded with him to give her 2 more weeks, and she would definitely create a taste that would satisfy the investors. Andre looked at his friend's pleading eyes. She reluctantly agreed. After Julie made her promise, she returned to the kitchen to think of a solution. Suddenly, Julie discovered that the fruit she saw yesterday was actually in her pocket. The fruit had a spicy and pungent flavor. Julie didn't pay much attention to it. She casually placed it on the table. Julie began to study new dishes. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't come up with innovative recipes. In addition, the highly paid sous chef was also suspected of resume fraud. Julie's mood grew increasingly gloomy. After making yet another disastrous dish, Julie despairingly dumped the food in the trash. In her moment of desperation, she noticed the fruit again. Julie tried taking a bite of the flesh. She found the flavor to be surprisingly delightful. After finishing one, Julie still felt unsatisfied. She felt as if she had discovered something new. So Julie ran back to the manor. She picked all the plants she had seen. The previous rabbit watched Julie from the side. Julie found a patch of empty land. She tried each of the freshly gathered ingredients. The flavors of the ingredients she had just collected were intoxicating. But soon, Julie began to vomit. She couldn't directly turn these things into dishes. To avoid poisoning the investors, Julie recorded the flavors and effects of these plants in detail. When she went back to the manor to explore for new plants, Julie discovered that the owner of the manor was actually the old lady with white hair. Moreover, she found a small room filled with upside-down plants and pickled fruits. Julie gained inspiration from the old lady. She learned to handle the ingredients in the old woman's way. The food she cooked turned out to be incredibly delicious. Julie gradually became addicted. When she saw the bugs, not only did she treat them as pets, but she also ground the bugs into powder to add to her dishes. Then, Julie served the dish with bug powder to the sous chef. The disgusting appearance made it hard for her to eat, but when the sous chef took a bite, the rich flavor completely won her over. The sous chef actually had some skills. She faked her resume because, in male-dominated kitchens, she would always be a supporting role. Julie and the sous chef worked well together. Soon, they decided on several dishes. To make the flavors richer, Julie went to the manor every day to collect ingredients. The dishes she cooked became more and more delicious. One day, Julie was resting in the yard. Suddenly, she noticed a ragged man secretly watching her from a distance. Julie approached to ask him, but he was so frightened that he ran away. Alvin said that the man might be looking for a witch. He told Julie that this house used to be inhabited by a group of witches. They brewed poisons and sacrificed the living. In the end, the villagers broke in and forcibly took them away. Julie mentioned that she had seen the ghost of the house's owner, but she was not a witch, just an old lady who wanted her help in managing the garden. 2 weeks passed quickly. That night, Julie was preparing the dishes for the next day. She recalled the totem she had seen in the manor. Julie drew it onto the menu. As she put down her pen, a strange noise came from outside. Julie stepped outside to check, but she found nothing. Following the sound, Julie arrived at the wine cellar. She unexpectedly discovered a hidden door here. Julie entered with her flashlight. Inside, she found strange bottles everywhere. Julie recalled the bizarre incidents she had encountered. She couldn't help but wonder if it was really as Alvin said, that the old lady was actually a witch. Suddenly, the bottles on the table started to shake violently. Julie felt a chill run down her spine. She quickly ran out. That night, she had a nightmare. In the dream, there was a group of witches brewing poison. These strange experiences left Julie distracted all day, but she still gathered her spirits to face Andre's challenge. She served the dishes in front of Andre. Each dish looked unappealing. Andre's eyes were filled with skepticism, but to his surprise, the flavors of these dishes were excellent. Andre affirmed Julie's culinary skills, and joked about whether she had been inhaling flour. To have made such great progress, Julie was very happy. This meant she was one step closer to becoming head chef. But once night fell, Julie couldn't feel happy anymore, because she kept seeing strange things. The next day, Andre told Julie that, before the official investment, the restaurant needed to have a trial run for a while. She still had to go through another test. Julie had to temporarily set aside her mental issues. On this day, Julie returned to the restaurant. She found the kitchen in disarray. The tables and floors were a complete mess. Julie thought a thief had broken in, so she cautiously checked the situation with a knife. Julie discovered a man crouching in the corner. Andre rushed over after hearing the noise. Only then did Julie realize that this man was Magnus. Magnus used to be an excellent chef, but gradually, he began to lose his mind. No one knew the reason. Julie was also very confused. She returned to the restaurant. Julie began to look at Magnus' notebook. It was filled with many bizarre drawings. Julie realized that it all might be related to the manor. She was somewhat afraid of becoming like Magnus, so Julie burned the menu she had drawn earlier, along with Magnus' notebook. After that, she turned on all the lights in the restaurant. Julie tried to find comfort in the brightness, but suddenly, one of the lights went out. Julie ran to the manor. She angrily destroyed the vegetable garden. After returning to the restaurant, she started to throw a tantrum. Julie vented her frustrations about being haunted on the sous chefs. She insulted the sous chef personally. The sous chef was angered by Julie's sexist remarks. He resigned on the spot, but without the ingredients from the manor and the sous chef's help, the trial dishes were poorly prepared. With just these few people, they couldn't keep up at all. Not to mention, Julie's mental state was also off. In the midst of the chaos, Julie saw that every corner of the kitchen was crawling with mold. She kept telling herself it was all an illusion, while hurriedly chopping vegetables. Unknowingly, she accidentally sliced off a piece of her finger. Everyone rushed to find something to bandage her. At this moment, another bad news came. A guest showed symptoms of an allergic reaction. After eating shellfish, Andre quickly searched for medicine to help the guest. Julie watched the chaotic scene and fainted on the spot. After handling everything, Andre issued a warning to Julie. He had invested all his savings into the restaurant, so he ordered Julie to get her act together quickly. The restaurant's disastrous situation was reported in the news. Julie looked at her phone. The online insults from netizens made her feel extremely irritated. The trial run was tonight, but currently, the restaurant's condition was unlikely to pass the test. Julie walked into the kitchen. She found the sous chef had returned to help. Before Julie could feel happy, Andre unexpectedly told her that the sous chef was back to take over Julie's position as head chef. Julie was extremely angry. She chased after him to the wine cellar. Julie shouted angrily at Andre. Andre appeared somewhat fearful. Julie became more and more agitated. She even picked up a crowbar. Andre quickly tried to calm her down. While Julie was stabilizing her emotions, Andre quickly slipped away and locked Julie in the wine cellar. Julie cursed Andre, saying he was a greedy bastard. Magnus was driven mad by them. Andre didn't care at all. On his way back to the restaurant, he encountered the sous chef. She asked him about Julie's condition. Andre lied, saying that Julie had left with the money. No one heard Julie's curses and cries for help. She could only save herself. Julie tried to pry the door open, but the iron door was very sturdy. She crawled into the dark room of the wine cellar to look for an escape. There was a door above the dark room that led directly to the road. The door was also locked and couldn't be pushed open at all. Julie was on the verge of collapse. At this moment, the bottles in the room began to shake again. Julie felt that this ghost was intentionally going against her. She erupted in curses, but unexpectedly, the ghost actually knocked over a cabinet, revealing a tunnel behind it. It seemed to be pointing out an escape route for Julie. Julie hesitated a bit, but if she didn't find a way out of the wine cellar, her dream of being a head chef would be shattered. Looking at the dark opening, Julie made up her mind and crawled inside. She held a candle and crawled through with difficulty. Julie didn't know how long she crawled, Suddenly, a skeleton appeared in her line of sight. Julie screamed in fright. She tried to back out, but the cave behind her suddenly collapsed. In front of her was a corpse. Her escape route was blocked. If she didn't move forward, she would be buried alive. Julie had no choice but to crawl toward the corpse. She recognized from the ring on the corpse's hand that this was the old lady from the photograph. In the moment of locking eyes with the old lady, Julie saw the old lady's past. It turned out that the old lady was not a witch. She and her companions were healers, but they were mistaken for witches brewing poison. In the end, they died in the tunnel. While fleeing from witch hunters, the old lady kept muttering about nourishing the soil, not burying people alive for sacrifice, but rather returning to the earth after death. Julie saw through this experience her own self, that was constantly denied and reprimanded. Her eyes gradually changed. At that moment, Julie truly received the old lady's legacy. As she broke through like a plant emerging from the soil, Julie felt as if she had been reborn. Meanwhile, the kitchen was in complete chaos. Julie carried the rabbit into the banquet hall. Her muddy appearance caught everyone's attention. Julie didn't care at all. She took a bite of the food on the plate, and then spat it out in disgust. Andre was stunned. The guests also found it disgusting. They all got up and left. The female investor, who previously called Julie conservative, decided to wait and see. Julie went outside to set up a bonfire. The sous chef came to apologize to Julie. Julie didn't blame her. Instead, she urged her to come help quickly. The two exchanged smiles. Julie put the ingredients in the pot and stirred. Her posture resembled that of a witch brewing potions. The aroma wafting through the air kept the guests lingering. They enjoyed the food. At the outdoor tables and chairs, the female investor was shocked after tasting it. This was exactly what she wanted. A flavor unbound by societal norms. Everyone present was very satisfied with the taste. There were no lavish decorations or complicated dining etiquette. The guests sat in the embrace of nature and comfortably enjoyed the food. Julie was sweating profusely, with dirt smeared on her face. She had none of the dignity expected of a head chef, or the refinement expected of a woman, but she didn't need others' approval. Julie smiled with complete freedom, and that's where the story ends. This film is a feminist movie disguised as a horror film. The terrifying old lady in the first half was actually a woman persecuted in the old days. While setting up twists, it cleverly expressed its own viewpoint. The plot was cleverly conceived, but for those looking for a thriller, they might be disappointed.